Hi, I'm Nicole Kemper. I'm a writer, actor, and filmmaker living in Atlanta, Georgia. This is 50 Foot Woman, and I've committed to shooting at least one roll of motion picture film per month. Today I wanted to talk about this chonky girl, the Bell and Howell 70DR 16mm camera. The Bell and Howell 70 series was first released in 1923, so it was one of the earliest 16mm camera models, and also the first spring-wound motor. It was based on a model that Bell and Howell had developed for a 17.5mm camera in 1917, but they soon realized that 16mm film was the future, and so they modified their design and came out with this guy. The Bell and Howell 70 series cameras were a favorite of war combat photographers. Many of them went to World War II, to Vietnam, and in fact this model, the 70DR, was a favorite of NBC and CBS during the Vietnam War. These cameras are incredibly solid. They're very sturdy, they're incredibly durable, and so that made them ideal for war combat photography. But despite being, in my opinion, a bit heavy, compared to other film cameras, they were pretty easy to travel with. They're relatively compact. I don't have any lenses on this one at the moment, but I will put some on so you can see what it looks like. But it is possible to hand hold it, and I think it would be ideal for sort of it is ideal for run and gun type photography. So this particular model would have been manufactured somewhere between the early 1950s and the mid 1950s. This camera takes both double per film and single per film. Some of the earlier 70 series models only took double per film, making this particular model pretty versatile. So one of the things I think you'll notice right off the bat, one of the sort of signatures of this Bell and Howell 70 series camera is that it has the 3-lens turret, which you've seen, I'm sure, on some other 16mm cameras, including the Bolex. One of the unique features about this model, though, is in addition to the 3-lens turret, which you can use to switch between literally hundreds of combinations of C-mount lenses, is that there's also a sort of a mini turret over here with some viewfinder lenses. The Bell and Howell 70 series is not a reflex camera, so essentially you, as you turn the turret and put the lens into place in front of the film gate, there is some corresponding finder lenses that will help you line up your shot. In addition to that, there's also sort of a parallax dial here where you can set the distance to your subject so that the finder lens will kind of be in alignment. So while you can't use this for focusing, you can use it for lining up your shot. I have taken some test footage with these lenses and this camera, and I found the viewing lenses to be pretty accurate. As I said, it has a spring motor, so there is no battery. When the lenses are not, and when there's no lens directly over the gate, it is in lock position. But if you have a lens in right over the gate, the camera will run. There is a footage counter. So whenever you load the camera, you do have to set it back to 0. Whew. She is heavy. Some of the models came with only a few speeds, but for most of the 70 series models, you can have about 7 speeds here. There's 8 frames per second, 16, 32, 64, 12, 24, and 48. So quite a lot of variety here in terms of the frames per second. And based on the manuals that I've been reading, because the frames per second dial doesn't click into place, you can essentially kind of move the dial in between some of the speeds. If you wanted a frame rate that's different than the ones listed here, it'll basically do anything from 8 to 48 frames per second. There is a critical focuser here. So if you're trying to line up a particularly shallow depth type shot, or maybe you've got a subject that's very close, you're trying to do like a really tight close-up or something. If you move the lens in front of the critical focuser, you'll see like a very, very small upside down version of the image with some ground glass so that you can check the focus. And then of course you would then move that lens back into place in front of the film gate so that you could actually film using that lens. I would say that it is, it's a sturdy camera. It does take a bit of hand strength to wind. It's quite loud, although I suppose probably in line with many other cameras that are meant to be for non-sync sounds. So I don't think that this camera would be ideal for sync sound. Of course, it doesn't have a crystal sync motor because it's a spring wound motor. I might do some sync tests, but this is, you know, probably not ideal for sync dialogue. It does feel like quite heavy in the sense that I feel like you can do handheld shots. You can see I got a hand grip here to assist with that. But I think over time it would be a bit backbreaking. So maybe if there was some kind of mount or something that could be built, it would be a little easier. So yes, you can handhold it, but it is quite heavy. So there is that. So you may want to use it, you know, to develop your upper body strength. Many of these cameras came with, or at least this model and some of the other later models came with different accessories. You can get a hand crank. Some models, you can fit a motor to it. The wind on these gets about like 30 seconds worth of footage. The motor, the electric motor, I've seen some of those go on eBay and it would plug in there, and it's possible it might work with this model. It might not. I haven't found a manual yet that's specifically for this camera, but I found some manuals for cameras that were in the relative range. And in fact, I'm just guessing that this is a 70DR based on the pictures online. It's got all the features and it has the look of the 70DR, but there is a plate here missing and it just says Filmo 70. It just says Bell and Howell 70 on the side. So I'm not exactly sure which model this is, but like I said, based on the photographs, I think it's the 70DR. There is also, if I turn this gal around, there is also a screw here where you can remove this piece and attach a magazine. The later models, you could attach a 400-foot magazine. I believe for this model, it would be a 200-foot magazine. This is the piece that comes off of the camera so that you can load the film inside. It takes 100-foot daylight spools. It's relatively easy to load. It does not have the automatic loading feature that some Bolex cameras have. But I found it to be pretty easy to load. I actually have a Bell and Howell Filmo 8mm camera, which pretty much loads almost exactly the same way. I did shoot a test roll just to make sure that the camera and the lenses were working. I shot this on 250D, so here's a little sample of that footage. And there you go. This camera I've seen on eBay for, well, not this model, but the Filmo series I've seen on eBay anywhere from like $100 to $400. It kind of depends on the model. The later models that were released like in the mid 50s or the early 60s tend to go more close to the $300 or $400 range. But still, if you've been looking for a 16mm camera and you've been looking at Bolexes and stuff like that, you might find that these are a little bit more affordable. They are incredible. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how solidly built this camera is. I feel like this camera is going to outlive me. So if you're looking for something that isn't probably going to require a lot of maintenance, it doesn't have any electronics, it's all mechanical, and if you treat it right, I think you'll get a lot of use out of it. If once you get one, you're going to want to clean it and lubricate it a little bit, and I'll do a video about how to lubricate the camera, but it's very, very easy, and as long as you keep this thing clean and lubricated and you run it every now and then, it would last you a good long time. So I can recommend this camera, especially if you're looking to get into 16mm, if you're looking to make the jump maybe from Super 8 or 8 to 16, and you want to try out a 16mm camera, but maybe like a Bolex is out of your price range. This is a good camera. One of the things that I'm really excited about is using this camera for the Kodak 100 Feet of Film project, similar to a 48-hour film fest or something like that, where you're given some parameters and you put a team together and you have a certain amount of time that you have to shoot the film in. There's a little bit more of a window here than 48 hours. Basically, we got our film from the Kodak lab in Atlanta. We're going to be shooting using a roll of 500T. So every team gets one roll of film, which is about 2 minutes and 40 seconds of footage. And so you can only shoot with that one roll of film. We have to have the film in by early January. Kodak is going to develop and scan the film. We will get the scans back. The film has to be edited by the end of February 2025, and then there'll be a big screening at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta of everyone's films in March of 2025. So we've got a team together, a group of people that we've worked with on several other projects. Usually when we're together, we're shooting on using a digital camera. So while many of us have had experiences separately working with film, for some of us, this is going to be our first time working together with a film camera. So very excited about that. Really looking forward to putting this camera to the test and letting it see some action. And I'm excited to share with you what's going to happen with that film once it's completed. Thanks for watching this video. If you are interested in motion picture film, 8mm, Super 8, 16mm, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel and keep watching. I've got many other videos about various different cameras and things. So I hope that if you're new here, you'll check out our backlog of videos. It's getting a little cold here, a little rainy in Atlanta as we move closer and closer to winter and closer to the holidays. I hope that as you are spending time with your family and your community, that you will bring along your motion picture camera and that we'll all be getting out there and shooting more film, you guys.